Right now at noon, a trash hauler turns in a violent crash near Jasper, leaving one man dead.
And we've still got some isolated showers out there across the area. We'll take a look at that and the weekend forecast coming up.
Plus, how a church in Fort Scott is rebuilding following a devastating fire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin police investigate a stabbing in the parking lot of the 8th Street Salvation Army. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Just before 11 p.m. Tuesday night, officers responded to reports of a pedestrian hit by a vehicle, but arrived to find a stabbing happened instead. Now, JPD says the suspect was having a dispute with his girlfriend when family members were called to retrieve a child. They then say the suspect stabbed one of those family members, and the victim is in stable condition at last check. Formal charges against the suspect are pending. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
And we've still got some very isolated showers out there. In fact, MoDOT camera 20th and range line, you can see we're even getting a little bit of sunshine out there, but still clouds are the predominant sky feature. Same from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. There's some sunshine peeking through, but otherwise we're still looking at mostly cloudy skies across the region. That went a little too fast. So we've got some stray showers, Crawford County, Cherokee, Ottawa counties, back through Delaware County. So not a lot out there, and there wasn't an expectation of a lot. When we say isolated, we're talking very isolated. We still have some additional rain across north central Arkansas, and that will push a few more isolated showers toward us through the rest of today. Yesterday started right where we should be. You never see that happen, but we made it up to 92 degrees, so well above where we should be for this time of year. Sitting at 85 in Joplin, 84 in Pittsburgh right now, and around the area with the mix of sun and clouds, we've got a mix of temperatures. We've got some upper 70s, low and even mid 80s out there, and we'll continue to warm across the area, and eventually will start to fall back. So these shower chances, again, very isolated, otherwise mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy skies through the evening, and the last of the showers should start to come to an end around 10, 11 o'clock tonight, at least a few that will be out there, and we'll be down to 70 by 10. We'll talk more about these rain chances today and how the weekend's shaping up, and unfortunately about some summer heat that's on the way again here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a head-on crash in Jasper County causes a semi to roll over. At about 2 a.m. this morning, a wrong-way I-49 driver was reported near the Carthage-Fairview exit. A pickup traveling northbound in the southbound lanes. A caller updating a 911 dispatcher followed for 8 miles until a head-on crash occurred near mile marker 60. The pickup collided with a tractor trailer, causing it to overturn. That driver was transported to a hospital awake and alert. One man is dead after a trash hauler overturns near Jasper, Missouri. It happened yesterday along Thorn Road near Country Road 220 when an eastbound tractor trailer trash hauler crashed, overturning. Now, 2 men were in the day driver cab hauling a load. Kim Melvin of Joplin was operating the 2021 Free Flighter when he was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, Daryl Taylor of Webb City suffered serious injuries and was rushed trauma to a Joplin hospital. The Missouri State Highway Patrol Major Crash Investigation Unit has responded to the crash. Well, 2 years after a lightning strike caused a fire at a Fort Scott church, efforts to rebuild are well underway. KOAM's Samantha Walker met with a member of the parish building committee to learn how the fire impacted the church and the steps they are taking to reopen its doors.
It was devastating, but out of those ashes, this wonderful church is rising.
2 years ago, a lightning strike caused a fire at Mary Queen of Angels Catholic Church in Fort Scott. The building was deemed a total loss, with damages estimated to be roughly $6 million. Mass has been held in a neighboring gym ever since the fire.
It's part of our Catholic tradition, number one. Whether it's indoors or outdoors, it's a Catholic service, and we would have done anything to continue having Mass services here.
He said there was no doubt the church would rebuild, but it's taken time. Parishioners were excited to learn a majority of the church's original stained glass windows were able to be saved and will now be placed inside the rebuilt church. It's just one way the original church, which was more than 150 years old at the time of the fire, lives on.
How overwhelming, how terrific to know that this church that burned down, and out of those ashes will be resurrected. Another fantastic thing about it is the interior of this church will just mirror and image what our previous church looked like. It was beautiful, and in my opinion, it's going to be absolutely as beautiful as it was before.
The Knights of Columbus is a group that has helped organize fundraising efforts for the church's rebuild. McCoy is a member of that group and says the community has been supportive during this time.
A month and a half after the fire, the Knights of Columbus had our first fundraiser where all of the proceeds that were received all went to the fire fund. We had such a huge outpouring of the community, and since then it has still been a continued outreach and support for the folks in the community to support us significantly.
He says because of the community's help with their fundraising efforts, the church is getting closer and closer to being able to reopen.
November 23rd is going to be our first dedication mass. So we will have it open, and we will be having that dedication here. It's on a Saturday. It will be standing room only. So we're very excited about that date.
Reporting in Fort Scott, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
There will be a benefit dinner to support the rebuilding efforts this Friday at 5 p.m. at the Kennedy Gym in Fort Scott. The SDK Recovery House in Iola, Kansas is at risk of closing due to lack of funds. The Recovery House has helped people get back on their feet after battling addiction. They say they've helped people build connections and find stable jobs. It's a men's only recovery house, the only one of its kind in Iola.
The Recovery House needs help in financially being able to support individuals their first month that they come and live here, if they are not employed when they come here. So it gives them an opportunity to get on their feet.
The SDK Recovery House is accepting donations to their fundraiser on their Facebook page. Well, coming up, Mercy officially cuts the ribbon on its new facility, completing a takeover of the former Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh. And later, we're making quick chicken curry in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The transfer of ownership for the hospital in Pittsburgh culminated yesterday with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The ceremony recognizes Mercy's acquisition of the former Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh. The transaction was officially finalized September 1st. Mercy Hospital Pittsburgh is the third Mercy Hospital in Kansas, joining Mercy Hospital Columbus and Mercy Specialty Hospital Southeast Kansas in Galena. Mercy says their investment in specialty care will benefit the Pittsburgh community and patients.
There was a need, and they were looking for a long-term sustainable partner to come into this community. Number one. Number two, it's an incredible community. There's a great physician backdrop here. There's a great history of service in the community. And it's also a natural progression for Mercy. It's not an island sitting way out in the middle of nowhere. It's part of, and it's a contiguous part of where we currently provide.
Mercy also operates 2 primary care clinics in Pittsburgh. New Heights Christian Academy in Joplin got some funding for a new modular classroom building. The Harvest Foundation donated $10,000 to the school. That money will be used to cover the cost of moving and setting up the 15 classroom building. It's currently on the campus of Missouri Southern, but will be moved to the Academy's campus. Well, yesterday, the Ford Wolf Burns Chapel in Coffeyville, Kansas held a Patriot Day event honoring local first responders for their hard work and dedication to the community. Each responder received a meal and a t-shirt that reads "Never Forget." One organizer says it's dear to her heart because she has relatives who are first responders, and just like many others, she worries for their safety when they're on duty.
It goes way beyond 9/11. Events and disasters and illnesses happen every day. And they go out and they put their lives on the line. They see things that they can't unsee, and yet they return every day to do it again and again.
Although the first responders say they enjoyed the meal, many were more excited to support and embrace each other. This is the 17th year for this event. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you're guilty of using the same 4 spices over and over and ignoring all the others that are buried in the back of your spice cabinet, then today we're gonna shake things up a bit.
And while we have some isolated showers in our forecast, the heat is going to make a return. We'll talk about all that when the KOAM News at Noon returns. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we had a few isolated showers, and we talked about that this morning as well. These shower chances are very isolated, but at least there's a little something out there. You can see them on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Let's start first into southeastern Kansas. We got some light showers out there. Also keep in mind, not all of this is necessarily reaching the ground, but we do have at least some shower activity being picked up just to the west of Baxter Springs, south of Columbus, and we got a couple of stray showers up into Crawford County. Other than that, there's a lot of clouds out there, and that's really what most of us are getting in on. We've got this here, that's just north of Pineville. Again, that's probably not even reaching the ground. And we got some light shower activity down into parts of Delaware County as well. So what's happening is Francine, or at least what's left of Tropical Depression Francine now, off to our south and east, has generated a bunch of extra rain across north central Arkansas. The problem is we've been so dry here lately, which I'm sure we've all noted, it's not all making it up this way, but at least we'll still have this being fed into the area. Now, how much of it actually makes it up here and how much we actually see is going to be extraordinarily limited, but some rain is better than no rain. So the future track again shows that there will be the opportunity for these showers in the zones here that are in green. That green does not mean it is going to be rain bands and raining continuously in these areas. It's simply where rain is going to be possible. And as you saw in the Skywatch Storm Tracker, there's not a lot of it, but at least there's a slight chance of a shower or two. And that'll continue late tonight, and should be done about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Now, future track also shows maybe an isolated shower or two tomorrow morning. I think the majority of us will be dry. And as we go through our Friday, we're actually going to see clouds decreasing across the area. So that goes into, on average, most of us should be right about the mid-80s for our Friday. But some locations, again, Bartlesville is a great example. We get a little more sunshine a little earlier. You may go a little higher than some of your neighbors to the east, because again, the clearing will take place from west to east as the remnants of Francine roll on through. And you saw briefly some green that raced across the area on Saturday. We have an opportunity for maybe an isolated pop-up shower or storm, and that'll continue into the early evening hours. And once we lose the daytime heating, we'll lose that window for those pop-up storms. As we head into the rest of today, now again, we are getting some sun out there, so you may have noticed where we are getting sun. Skies are still hazy, but with mostly cloudy skies, we're not really noticing the smoke nearly as much. However, as we get into the second half of our Friday, we're actually, at least at this point, looking at this smoke beginning to clear out of the area by late tomorrow, which will lead to less hazy skies out there. Well, we don't have any air alerts in our immediate area. In fact, they'd show up like that if we did. But you can see air quality is still being reported as moderate across the region. So it's not bad, but it's not great either. So just keep that in mind if you're a little more sensitive. So you can even tell we got a little bit of sunshine, otherwise cloudy skies. And even these cloudy skies, you can kind of see that haze out there. 85 in Joplin, wind is variable at 4. Over in Pittsburgh, same situation, cloudy skies, some haze, a little bit of sunshine, 85, and actually technically a wind chill of 83, so it's not noticeable, but it's there. But you may have noticed too, the humidity levels are very low, only 34%. That's why a lot of the shower activity we are getting isn't making it to the ground. Because of the clouds out there, we do have a mix of temperatures, mid-upper 70s and low to mid-80s across the area. So again, today, most of us looking to top out mid-upper 80s across the area, so at or a bit above normal. As we head into tonight, again, the showers will start to come to an end. We'll be mostly cloudy, back into the low to mid-60s out there. Most of us, as the skies clear, about mid-80s tomorrow, but further west, you get a little more sunshine, might be a little bit on the warmer side. As we head into the weekend, though, we start to warm up. So in addition to the isolated chances or chances for isolated to widely scattered showers and storms as we head into next week, we also see that heat return. We start going back into the low to upper 80s and low 90s across the area. Our next best chance of meaningful rainfall looks to be still by next weekend. So something we'll keep an eye on.
Sure.
But either way, we need some rain,
Yes.
just not a lot on the horizon.
All righty. Thanks, Chris. We'll stick around. We're making a quick chicken curry in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is showing us how to make quick chicken curry in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
How many of you are guilty of using the same 3 or 4 spices over and over while ignoring all the others that are buried in the back of your spice cabinet? If that sounds like you, then today we're going to hopefully change that. Let's start off by digging out that bottle of curry, which hasn't seen the light of day in months, so we can make it the star of today's recipe. In a food processor or blender, we combine a jar of roasted red peppers that we've drained, along with some chopped onions, some chicken broth, coconut milk, and a good amount of curry powder. We puree this until it's smooth, which takes just seconds. Now we pour this into a skillet, and once it simmers, we stir in some chickpeas and grated carrots. Now we add some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, but if you prefer, you can use chicken breasts. Okay, we let this simmer until the sauce thickens up and the chicken is cooked through. Once it's done and you take a whiff of the rich curry sauce, you'll wonder why you don't use this spice more often. To get the recipe for what we call our quick chicken curry, which is super tasty, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a spiced up way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, a few isolated showers still possible for some of us today. Highs mid-upper 80s. We'll start doing some clearing tomorrow. Heating up as we head into the weekend and next week. We also have those isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances, but those above normal temperatures are going to really steal the stage. Upper 80s and low 90s.
All righty. Thanks, Chris. And Dow, what are your first tonight?
A lot at 5. For starters, September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. It's the most common inherited blood disorder in the U.S., which mainly affects African Americans. Now there's new hope with therapy now available outside the research setting. Plus, we're going to hear from Vernon County officials about electioneering and what people are allowed to do come Election Day and where they're allowed to be. And Ozark Christian College cancels classes today to serve the community as hundreds of students, faculty, and staff volunteer across the Joplin area. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dale. Lots to look forward to. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.